Welcome everyone to the Usher and Greeter recording to get trained on being an Usher and Greeter. This is an awesome way to get plugged into the church and to serve the community, to be able to meet people on Sunday mornings and help everyone have a great worship experience. So this training is hopefully only going to be about 20 minutes. I'm going to start off by encouraging everyone to read the accessibility manual that was put together and part of the original email list. So this is kind of required reading for our ushers and greeters. We want you to have at least that basic knowledge of how to interact with people who have disabilities. We have resources for people that you should know about. So when you're passing out bulletins, we have large print bulletins available with those for those with low vision. We also have hearing assist devices that are currently on the door to the all-gender restroom. We're actually going to be putting those into a nicer cabinet next to the restroom there in just a little bit, but those hearing assist devices are available. If someone is an American Sign Language user, you want to direct them to the front of the sanctuary to sit in front of the American Sign Language interpreter. We have cut-ins on some of the pews to allow people who are in wheelchairs to be more integrated into the worship experience and not just have to sit on the side of the pew or in the back of the sanctuary. So recognize where those cut-ins are that can allow for more integration of wheelchairs. There's a lot of folks who come in with walkers, and those walkers can stay on the side of the sanctuary as long as there's a clear path for those in wheelchairs. We're going to put together a similar training manual in the coming months on how to interact with people who may have a mental health challenge. We have a lot of people in the church that recently went through a training to become mental health first aid certified. And so we'll encourage those people to sign up and have an identifying ribbon or feature so that if you're greeting someone and you feel like they may need some additional assistance or a companion during the service, you can identify that person and connect them. It's important to know as ushers and greeters where everything is in case people need directed toward a place in the area. So we have restrooms on either side of the narthex, as you know. And when you're looking into the sanctuary, on the right side is our all-gender restroom that is also fully accessible. The women's restroom on the other side also has accessible stalls, but that restroom meets code in every way for accessibility, and it's all gender. So if someone's looking for an all-gender restroom, you can direct them there. Because there's not a men's restroom, sometimes there's a line on that side. And if someone's looking for additional restrooms, you can direct them to the guild hall, or what people don't know is we actually have restrooms behind the chancel in the sanctuary area. So they can go outside and go down that walkway, and there's restrooms behind the sanctuary as well. Our nursery is on the first level where the early childhood center is. Our Sunday school classrooms are upstairs. We'll always have children, youth, and family staff available to help direct people to the Sunday school classrooms and nursery. But if they ask you, if maybe you're the roamer that day, you're the head usher, then they might need your assistance leading someone on where they should go. Families do check in first at that main table in the narthex on Sundays. So if you have a family that doesn't look like they know what they're doing or where to go, and they're coming in one of the side doors, help them get to that check-in table in the middle of the narthex. We have 2 televisions now that broadcast the service during the service. So the Myrick Room is fully equipped with an air conditioner. So if someone needs to step out during the summertime because they're hot, or if they want to have a child that's crying, and children can be crying and moving around in the sanctuary, but sometimes parents are uncomfortable just of their own accord and want to step out, you can help them find the Myrick Room. Or if one of you need to stay in the narthex for some reason during the service, the TV in the narthex will be portraying the service as well.
Where's the Myrick Room? Where is that room?
Question. Thank you, Janice. The Myrick Room, if you're looking again at the sanctuary, and that's how I'll do my directions, it's to the right. So as you're coming out those right doors across the hall, that is called the Myrick Room. And it has rocking chairs and couches. There is a water fountain in that little nook next to the women's bathroom that has water bottle filling station. There is an AED device right inside the left doors. And of course, in an emergency, most everyone has cell phones. Call 911. If you are someone who is outside greeting, so if you go onto the sign up page, you'll notice that there are different doors that people will be stationed at. If you are stationed outside, it would be great at that corner of 6th and Harvard, especially right now while we are still waiting for the ramp to be finished. If people are just vigilant, if anyone needs extra assistance getting out of their cars, maybe they have a walker. There's a lot of traffic right at that corner because right now that's the only spot where a wheelchair or walker can get up to the sanctuary level. So just be vigilant and be willing to help people get out of their cars if they need extra assistance. You will, if you are at the sanctuary doors, you will have bulletins with you. Again, the large print and the regular print. And so if you are at the doors inside going into the sanctuary, that's where we will distribute the bulletins. If you're at one of the outside doors, your job is just to greet people and be friendly. So the idea of greeting is just say, hello, welcome to Claremont United Church of Christ. We're so glad you're here. If it's someone you don't know, feel free to introduce yourself. A greeting faux pas is to ask someone, is this your first time at the church? Because if you don't know everybody, it could be someone's 10,000th time at the church. And we've heard feedback from people that kind of hurts their feelings to know I've been going to this church for 20 years and no one knows me. So it's always good to be careful if you don't know someone, rather than to assume they're new, just maybe assume you don't know them. And maybe they'll offer, hey, this is my first time here. And that's when you can say, oh, well, let me show you around. If you do meet someone and they tell you it's their first time, ask if they need anything, if they need to know where the bathrooms are or where the Sunday school check-in is, and strike up a conversation that way. It's always okay to have a conversation. Some people are trying to fly in under the radar and they don't want to talk to anybody. That's okay. Some people are there and they want to be anonymous. But in general, it's good to just smile and say hello and welcome them to the space. Those are 3 really good points, Mark, to reiterate those for everyone. Great conversation starter to say, hi, I'm a new greeter here. Would love to know your name. And it is also true, and I'm not just saying this because I love Claremont UCC, but when people come to the church and I'm talking to them afterwards, they always mention that they felt just a warm, welcoming presence, that people weren't trying to seek them out, to grab them to serve on a committee, but really people just wanted to get to know them, and they cared that they were there and they were happy to see them. And so just having that persona, I think that's why you all are doing the greeting, is that you just want people to feel welcome and that this is a safe place for them. Just to give everyone a quick debrief of this. So there's some churchy terms we use, like narthex, that's the lobby area. The chancel is the stage area, the sanctuary. And when you're looking into the sanctuary, to the left is our chapel and memorial garden. So the chapel is where our 8 a.m. service is. The choir room is behind the sanctuary. That's also where our media room is. And there's some additional bathrooms back there. And then kind of our catch-all for the bigger office building is the guild hall. So when people say guild hall, that's the office building. Only because it was like literally in 1928 when it was built, groups and guilds would rent out that space. And in the guild hall is the main office. The Louise Roberts Room is a term that's used a lot. The Louise Roberts Room is where we have adult education. The Sumner Room is also on the first floor, and that's where there's a lot of meetings in that space. So Louise Roberts and Sumner Room are meeting rooms on that first floor. The second floor has offices and Sunday school rooms and a room called the upper room. And the basement, the church refers to as the refectory. So if someone needs to get from the sanctuary to the guild hall, you just send them down that stone walkway through the courtyard. And there is a head usher spot, and that's going to be a roamer. And so I hope people feel comfortable signing up for that spot. Hopefully it'll be a little bit interesting to be the roamer and to just be on the lookout for something like this. Is there a greeter who needs some additional help? Is there someone to take somewhere, etc.? Okay, let's transition into ushering. So there's 8 people that sign up to greet, because it does take 8 people to usher properly. And starting this Sunday, we'd like to bring back that ushering responsibility. So the ushering plates are, again, when you're looking into the sanctuary, on the right side in the cabinets where that TV is. In that first cabinet, you open it and the offering plates are right there. We're gonna watch a 6-minute video.
Hi greeters and ushers, thank you for being part of this training. We have a short little video to teach how to do the offering. But before we begin, just so you know, when you're signing up to usher or greet and you're greeting in the morning, this is the center sanctuary door, and it's when you're looking into the sanctuary like I am right now that there'll be the left sanctuary door and then the right sanctuary door over there. When we do the offering, we need 8 people because that's how much it requires to be efficient during that time. And 4 people will be here at the center door, 2 on each side, and 2 people will be on the left door, 2 people will be on the right door. And all 8 people will have one of these offering plates. You'll gather together before the call to offering, and then during the call to offering in the program, and that's usually when we say a little message about where the resources of Claremont United Church of Christ go and the different ministries that it supports. That's when you will line up and you'll start processing down. So by the time we, at the end of the call to offering, say our gifts and tithes will now be received, you're in place and ready to go. So in terms of the 4 people here at the center, there'll be 2 on this side, 2 on this side. The front 2 will walk all the way down, and we're just going to keep walking together here, and we're going to go to the very front of the sanctuary. It's a long path down the center aisle, isn't it? So those front 2 people, and we'll get to where the back 2 people go in just a second, but the front 2 people will come all the way to the front. The person who's on this side will start it down the first row. The person who is on this side will start it down this row. Now, if you remember, there's 2 people on the other side, and they're going to be passing it back and forth with you. So the middle person passes it here, and the front person on this side receives it and sends it down the next aisle. So the person who is on the center aisle in front will now receive it from the second row and pass it down the third row. So all of you have a partner that you're passing it back and forth between each row. So the front person in center left starts it, the front person on left takes it, and you pass it back and forth. The same with the front person here. Now the reason we have 8 is 4 people are working the front sections, from here to there, from center to right. Now if you are in the center and you are the second person, you will not go all the way to the front. Instead, you will go to a marker halfway up the sanctuary. Right now, it's a blue piece of tape. I think we could maybe get a little classier in the future, but we'll stick with our blue tape for now. If you are the second person, you will start right here. And then another person right here. And again, you will have a partner on the right side. This person will have a partner on the left side. You will start your tray and you'll go to the end. The person will receive it and pass it to the other side as well. Now, once you have done your last row, which for the people who start in the middle is the very last row, and for the people who start in the front, it's the pew before the blue tape, you will take the offering plates and you will gather together again in the center aisle at the back. At the conclusion of the musical piece during the offertory, we will then sing the Doxology, or another form of offering song. And so everyone who has now collected at the back with the offering plates will bring them forward again, and you'll go all the way to the chancel. And once you get to the chancel, you will place them up on what is often incorrectly referred to as an altarpiece. It is not actually an altar, but we will refer to it as an altarpiece.
And why is it not, Jacob? Let's do a little theology lesson.
Would you like to elucidate behind the camera?
Sure. It's not called an altar because we do not believe that there is a sacrifice to give to God, that Jesus already sacrificed himself. And so we just practice with a communion table, and this is a version of that. And then we also, of course, have our beautiful Maloof one that we use.
Correct. So once you get all the way to the front, you will place the offering plates on the communion table, altarpiece, and then you'll come back here. We'll finish singing whatever song we're singing for the offertory song. We'll do a prayer of dedication after the offering to dedicate what we've collected that day to the ministry that Christ is doing in our community. And then you, ushers and greeters, are invited to go back to your pews and have a seat. So if there's any questions along the way, feel free to reach out about this. It's a really simple process. And during this COVID era, if you want to be wearing gloves, we'll have gloves available, etc. And then our head usher, who signs up, will then, at the end of the service, come and with our sextons, accompany them to the safe room. You don't need to touch the money or count the money. You just need to put it into a bag, into the safe, and sign off that you visibly saw it go into the safe. So that is our ushering process, and it is really important only because this is how we support the ministry of the church.
I was going to ask, where do they stand after they've put the donations on the altar
You will
piece?
stand in a line, and you will actually continue to face the communion table.
Okay, a line that goes from side to side.
Yeah, so
Okay.
one line this way, one line this way.
Oh, okay.
Facing the table, and you're facing it because, we're about to say a prayer of blessing over these resources.
Simple,
All right,
simple.
thanks everybody.
In the past, each person, the people that were working the outside aisle, they have a plate as well. So when the ushers are going down on each side, each usher had a plate. So the one who's working the center aisle, they'll pass theirs outwardly. The other one will start in the next pew back and pass it back. And so it speeds the process along. And that's what I recall how we used to do it.
So it's actually every other row.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Tad. Thank you. All 8 people will start with a plate, and that makes it go doubly as fast, so that while you're starting one from the inside, someone's starting one from the outside, and then you pass it every other row.
Do the ushers, you have to kind of watch because they go different speeds.
Yeah.
Do the ushers on the outside walk down the center aisle when they bring the plates up to the altarpiece?
That's correct. So everyone congregates back in the back and comes down the center aisle together in 2 rows.
Okay.
So right now, while we're doing communion with our individualized cups, if you're handing out bulletins, you'll also hand out a communion cup. And then you'll be part of, I will ask those people to come and make sure that everyone received a communion cup. People in this pool who are deacons may be more likely to sign up on those Sundays, but that's not required at all.
When we do a return to a normal communion service, are
Yes.
ushers involved with that, or is that?
No, that will be the deacons.
Okay.
We are going to work with the WISE committee to put together another training packet dealing specifically with mental health concerns. And that group is also going to regularly have opportunities available for the congregation to learn more about interacting with people who have mental health challenges. So yeah, there'll be additional trainings for the congregation as a whole and a specific packet just for greeters and ushers on that topic. So just encourage people as you're reading this and learning a little bit about interacting with people with disabilities. For instance, it can be overwhelming, but just be yourself and treat people with dignity, treat people with respect. You notice in that packet it said, never assume you know the neurological capacity of a person. Talk to them, look at them, talk to them like they can understand you, and they'll guide you. So just be yourself, and you might mess up, and that's okay. So good to get there between 9:30 and 9:40.
9:40, right.
So thankful for everyone. Thank you for sticking with us through this whole training. And we're just really grateful to have so many people willing to serve the church in this important way and to kind of be the first face that people see.
Did you have a lot? Do you have a lot of people, or do you still need more people?
The pool can grow as big as possible. So more people are always welcome. I think there were between like 40 to 50 people who said they would like to be part of this pool already and are going to watch the training. But just to make sure the spots are always filled, because, you know, sometimes people want to do it just once a month or once every 2 months. Some people want to do it every week. If that's you, do it. Sign up every week. But yeah, great question, Janice. The greeters, all greeters are also ushers. So our 8 ushers are the 8 greeters.
Okay.
So you're signing up for both duties.
Yes, okay, very good.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.